Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of The Apollo Show. I'm your host, Apollo, and I'm here with the amazing Darcy Looker. How you doing, mate?
Great, mate, and yourself. Thank you for having me, by the way. This is outstanding. The weather's fantastic here in Brizzy.
Mate, how good is it? Because you're usually from Melbourne, right?
Yeah. Just down in Vic, it's the weather's horrendous at the moment.
So cold. Is it cold at the moment?
It actually, before I come up, it was pretty good, but previous to that, it was pretty. So I was like looking forward to getting in and getting some sunshine in just for the weekend.
Yep. Well, you've got a cracker of a day because we've had rain all week. So you've brought good weather vibes.
Thank the heavens.
That's right.
Heavens. My prayers worked, mate.
Yeah,
I did pray for it.
We love that.
We've done all right.
I know you from where you were doing a guest spot because you were on a reality TV show, a dating show called Boy Island.
Yes.
Do you want to explain to the audience what Boy Island is, what the premise is?
All right, basically, this is how I sort of sum it up, is that you've got 3 girls and they're trying to figure out if the 24 guys that are on the island are F-boys or boys or they're nice guys. So the premise of boy, if they get through to the end, the girls, if they choose the boy, they have the power over the $50,000. If you're a nice guy, you split the cash with the girl. So that's how it all works. So it's deceiving. It really is a big deceiving game.
So the $50,000 at the end, if you're a nice guy, you share it with the girl. If you're a fuck, you take the lot for yourself.
You can, or you can split it.
Or you can choose to split it with the girl.
Yeah.
Right.
I've heard about the American version, and a guy did take the 50K.
True.
But there's a clause in the contract that says they can choose if you get the money or not. So apparently the guy was an F-boy. He's like, I'm taking the money.
Yep.
And they ended up like, no. And they ended up, I'm certain they donated it to a charity instead of him getting it.
The show itself?
Yes.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So boys beware.
So it's not foolproof.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There you go.
They really, I guess they want to push, sharing is caring and all that sort of stuff and getting that cash for the girls as well, because it is all about the girls.
Yep.
They try and push that pretty hard. So for a guy to come across and take 50K.
Dogs.
Yeah, I know.
I guess that's part of the premise of the show, though. The producers would have been searching for, basically.
Yeah, big time.
Nice guys and dudes that aren't very nice. So how do they find the F-boys compared to the nice guys? And what were you labelled actually on your season?
Yeah, great question. For me, it actually come about because I applied for Love Island actually initially. It was pretty much the exact same process. I got right to the end, and instead of getting a yes for Love Island, I got a no, and basically the exact same for F-boy. But I didn't know it was F-boy. So when I applied, it was just an unnamed reality show on Warner Brothers.
Right.
Reality dating.
Yep.
And I was like, you just put your hat in the ring and just see what happens, because you're like, it, who cares? Like, if you get in, you get in. If you don't, you don't.
Yep.
And then they kept dropping hints throughout the interview process of what it is. But I was just like, I don't really watch much reality TV, to be honest, mate. It's a bit.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Me neither.
It's tough to watch at times, and my season was tough to watch as well too.
I think it's geared towards female viewing, if I'm honest. Like, I don't know many dudes that run home at 7:30 on a Thursday to watch The Bachelor. You know what I mean? But I do know heaps of women that go home, specifically need to be home at 7:25 to watch The Batch.
Yeah.
So I think that's
shout out to all those ladies as well too. They keep the shows going. So thank you very much. We really appreciate that. But no, it was an interesting interview process, like them trying to drop the hints and stuff like that. And then when they did tell me, like, oh, this is F-boy Island, they've done it in, I think, Spain, America, New Zealand. They did a New Zealand season as well. And I was like, the name of the show was just enough to make me go,
throwing you off.
I really don't know. And initially, so I had plans of going over to Europe the same time, roughly that year. So I was like, do I really want to do this or not? Like, and I just started a new role at work. I was like, how's work going to think, like, when I go onto this show, what are they going to think about it? I spoke to my boss. My boss was the one that really clinched it for me. And he sort of said, mate, just go and do it.
Yep.
He goes, you'll be fine. He goes, we will not think any less of you. We won't think any different of you. Just go and do it. It's an amazing opportunity. Go and do it. So shout out to my boss, Mick. Thank you very much for those kind words. Really appreciate it.
Love that. What is up, people? Are you ready to elevate your health game? If so, then listen up. Introducing to you BLCKWAVE Supplements, your go-to destination for holistic supplements that cater to both men and women. Designed to optimize your entire system. Whether you're looking to enhance focus, libido support, or to revitalize your overall well-being, BLCKWAVE has got you covered. Head to their website, www.blkwave, BLCKWAVE.com and try their wide range of holistic supplements, ranging from their 2 flagship products, their cognitive support, Brain Force 1, designed to help skyrocket your focus as your productivity goes through the roof, and their male libido support supplement, AlphaMale, Male Enhancement, designed to help you unleash your inner beast. Ladies, do you also want to reignite some heat back into the relationship? Well, BlackWave also offers horny goat weed to ignite your passion and help enhance your libido. And here's a cherry on top. Use my promo code WAVE20 at the checkout for an exclusive 20% off your purchase on the website. So what are you waiting for? Join the BlackWave revolution today. Are you sick of scouring the hub looking for something authentic? Well, MyOF has exactly what you're looking for. Real girls having a real good time. Exclusive behind the scenes, 50% off your first month, and over 100 videos ready to watch on the feed as part of your subscription, with weekly new releases from both homegrown Australian talent and overseas professionals you know and love. It's an amateur's paradise. Go check out the website in my bio and follow the links to the Apollo Show X. Wanted to see me, myself, and my D? Same website in bio, but look for the Apollo Show solo. Enjoy, guys. So what were you labelled on the show?
Yeah, I was a nice guy.
Yep,
I
brilliant.
had the choice of either.
Unsurprisingly.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. But no, I had the choice of either. Just in my past, I've been a bit of a player, like just being young and dumb and, just trying to enjoy yourself. And I did sort of speak on that throughout the whole interview process. And they sort of said to me, like, what do you want to be? And I'm like, well, I actually do want to meet someone. Like, I do want to meet someone. I want to, fall in love, all that sort of
How old are you now?
stuff. I'm 28, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, up until recently, I didn't think I'd ever been in love, which I think we will touch on a little bit later. But yeah, to that point, I was like, I want to meet someone. I want to fall in love with someone.
Yep.
Like, that's what I wanted to do. So that's why I guess I went on as a nice guy, yeah.
As someone who also went through a massive tear in my early to mid-20s of just being a boy.
Still are a little bit, but just for work.
That's
for
right.
Work. That's okay.
Just for work.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate when I did find a partner that I was in love with, I was like, man, this does feel good. I think because I had a lot of relationships in my 20s that were not compatible for me when I look back on it.
Yeah, okay.
But when you do find one, you're like, this is what everyone talks about. I didn't even think it existed until it actually...
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Until you find it, you're like, am I unlovable?
Right.
Genuinely, like, what am I doing wrong? And then you find that person and you're like, wow, okay, now I can see what people are talking about. And it is a great feeling.
Yep.
Albeit it could be short, it could be long term, whatever it is, but still it's an amazing feeling to be involved in.
Yeah, absolutely. I miss feeling like infatuated with someone. Good.
Oh no, it is, isn't it? Just get real lovey-dovey. I'm like, am I really like that person? Am I that lovey-dovey person? But I am. And that's
right.
okay. And I'm sure you would be too. What sort of love, like, are you similar to that as well? Or?
Yeah, when I find someone that I really like, I'm a quality time and affectionate touch are my love languages.
Yeah.
So
pretty similar as well to me.
Yeah,
as well.
so I spend a lot of time and acts of service. So I do a lot of like cooking for my partners. I do a lot of like cuddling and chilling and whatever with my partners. And
for the ladies out there, what's your signature dish that you would cook for them?
I actually have like 3 or 4 really good dishes depending on I normally date girls who are really into fitness, so it depends if we're dieting or not. True. If we're dieting, I'll do like an Asian chicken noodle like pho, or if we're not dieting, I make a insane birria tacos with like a dipping sauce. Incredible.
It. Ladies, I hope you're taking note now.
That's right.
Wowee. Right. That's special.
Mate, so what led you to go on to Island? Like, what made you think, like, you know what, I'm going to apply for, or even Love Island, which is what you initially went to apply for? Like, what made you make that step? Because if you don't mind asking, what do you do for work in your real life?
Yeah. So for real life work, I work at a university. I'm a campus emergency warden, which is basically any of your emergencies that happen on site, I'm one of the first responders there. So I'm, whether it's fire alarms, first aid, whatever it may be, I'm your guy that turns up.
Okay.
I do enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I do enjoy it. I am ready for a little bit more, but I do enjoy like just the go of it, really. Yeah. Just being able to think my way through situations as well, which I really enjoy. Because there are some interesting things that have happened on site.
I can imagine. Sure. If it's at a university,
yeah. There's never a dull moment, mate, honestly. No. Like, before I got into the university sector, I was like, what could possibly go wrong at a uni? And I've seen everything.
Mate, universities are full of young and dumb kids.
Yes.
Like, I used to do some when I was, between 18 and 25.
Haven't we all,
just
mate?
for fun.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
for funsies, you know?
Exactly. Why I did go on, I guess for me, I've always tried to live my life to the fullest, and I've always tried to do things out of the ordinary a little bit, just to try different things. And that was what it was for me. Like, I have dabbled in reality TV as well before. When I used to live in the United Kingdom, I did a reality TV show over there. That was...
What show?
That was called Dress to Impress. It's on ITV4. That was only like a 40-minute episode, just one episode, but the premise of that show is one girl and 3 guys. Now that you don't get to meet the girl until the end, if you make it through to the end, but she will give you hints and tips as to what she wants to be dressed like or how she wants to be dressed. And I was, I did the best and I won that one. So I was pretty happy with that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Got the date at the end, which was fantastic. That was in at West Ham. That was amazing. Like a rooftop sort of setting they had.
And you were living overseas at that point?
Yeah. I was there for 2.5 years in the UK. So
what were you doing over there?
Just traveling and enjoying life. Yeah, that was another one where I was just like, let's go and do something different. Go out and enjoy life and try different things.
Yeah, awesome.
But yeah, so that was interesting. We had like a fondue fountain. There was like fireworks in that in the background. I don't know if that was planned by TV, and I don't think it was, but it was in such a perfect spot that it almost seemed like it had been planned.
Yeah, right.
I was like, this is probably one of the more romantic dates I've ever been on. I was looking at her and I just said that to her, and she's like, you know what, it's very much the same.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love
So
that.
I was like, I enjoyed that. I know the shows that I'd applied for would be a lot more like, your Love Islands, that sort of thing. You got to be on all the time.
Yep.
Which I was like, I think I can do it.
So with the island, like is that kind of like a Big Brother scenario where you're in a house 24 hours a day, hidden cameras everywhere, camera crew always on you. So if you, so they can pick up the 1 or 2 things you say per day and then make that the primary piece of marketing. Is that?
To be honest, it did seem like that when you're in there because, it's just go the whole time. But basically we got from the morning time till about, maybe 10 or 11 a.m. It would just be our time. So we'd have breakfast, workout, that sort of thing. And then once they said, right, mic's on, cameras are rolling, that sort of thing, it was go till about midnight, 1 a.m.
Okay.
So it was big days, really, really big days.
How long were you shooting for? Like not per day, but like how long was the entire process from when you went into the house to when you left?
Yeah, I reckon I was there for about just under a month.
Okay.
But the whole thing went for just about a month.
Right.
Yeah. So when I got, spoiler alert for anyone that hasn't seen it, when I got eliminated, I was out for a couple of days, went and stayed with my sister on the Gold Coast.
Yep.
And then I went back in and that was the whole 4 weeks basically almost.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So you went back in after you were eliminated?
Yeah. So they brought all the boys back in, which was quite cool because it was like everyone was a bit more relaxed than the people that had been eliminated. You really got to see who was who then. And we just had a lot of fun. Like there was one night where we set up on the table, ping pong table, and we're playing sting pong and drinking Coronas and just making dicks of ourselves.
What's sting pong?
You never heard of sting pong, mate? You never played it?
Is that where you where if you lose a round, you have to turn around and get the ball slammed at your back?
Yes.
I have played sting ball. I've never called it sting ball before.
Yeah, it's good fun. We go, so best of 3, and then whoever wins gets a ping at the other person. But I'm going to be, pump myself up a bit here, and I was probably one of the better ones in there. There's a few boys that looked like they'd been attacked by octopus after I finished with them, which was great.
Love that.
Have you seen the welts that they leave?
Definitely. Yeah.
Oh, they're painful too.
It'll get you.
Yeah.
It's like they've gone paintballing.
literally.
Real. Now, reality TV can get pretty wild. Is all of the stuff that happens on there, is it natural or do the producers encourage the drama? Do they say hey, this is what's going to happen. We want to see you guys really get into a fight today. Or is it very much just the personalities are so big in there that you end up having these huge
I think it's a bit of
arguments?
both. I do think it's a bit of both. I tried to be as natural as I possibly could in there, but it is a lot. For anybody else that's been on reality TV, I'm sure they'd agree with me that it is a lot mentally. But the producers do push certain agendas. They'll just come and sort of whisper in you. They're like puppet masters. They are the producers. Don't get me wrong. I had some fantastic producers, but they were like little puppet masters, and they just, did their thing, and they'd go, "Hey, maybe you should go and speak about this, or maybe you should go and do that."
Yeah.
And it was.
I suppose you have to because
With your head a little bit as well too, because you're like, no, this is how I do it this way, and then they're like, no, go and have a chat about this, or
and
that's where that unnatural sort of feeling started to come into it for me, and it started to frustrate me a little bit, to be honest, because I'm like, I'm genuinely trying to build something here.
Yeah.
And you guys are just, yes, as a show, it's got to be entertaining, but I thought I was being entertaining enough as it is. Maybe I wasn't. I don't know. But
well, I mean, I think on those reality TV shows, the more fireworks they can have on there, whether it's created by themselves or naturally occurring, the better.
Yeah, big time.
And
big
if you're
time.
only filming for a month, then
they need as much content as they possibly can get,
to,
mate. And I've heard on the grapevine that they had enough to make another 2 episodes. I would have loved for them to make another 2. That would have been fantastic, because there was a few days where we did film that didn't actually make it to air. And look, I'll be honest, I'm pretty happy about that, because there was one day where we had to do this stupid TikTok dance, mate. It was, and I can't dance to save myself. If anybody knows me, they know that I'm a terrible dancer, but I'll give it a go. And I was fucking horrendous. There was a few other boys that weren't too flash either. But I'm so glad that didn't make it to air, because that would have looked so bad. We were all in budgie smugglers, like
classic.
Very interesting.
I actually hate. When I was in America, there was a podcast that a mate of mine went on, and he came back, and I was like, "How was the podcast?" I thought it was going to be like a podcast like this, and it was like apparently him and like 4 other dudes, and they made him do like a little rap battle and then a dance, and I was like, man, if I had to try and sling like a rap together to beats live just on the spot, it would be the worst thing ever. It would be so embarrassing.
Have you seen the footage at all or not?
Of
that?
No, I haven't.
I
haven't. No, I don't even think it's out yet. It was just he actually came back to the house I was at and was like, it was actually sick. But I think
completely different to what he was thinking though, going in saying podcast.
Correct. Especially an OnlyFans style podcast.
Yeah,
You don't realize. I guess they have to make it entertaining and clippable for social media, so they do certain things. But yeah, for me,
I think that's what they were trying to do with us.
Definitely.
But I think they just cut it complete. Like, it was so bad, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like cringing about it just now, just thinking about it in the back of my head. I'm like, no, this was horrendous. But it was funny because, like, just seeing the guys take the piss out of themselves like that. And I did enjoy that part about it. Like, we were just all having fun. We're like, it, let's just take the absolute mick. There's a few photos we're dressed up. Like, I'm wearing like this red hat. I never wear hats as well too. So this red shit hat. A few of the boys have got like, what are they called? What do the Hawaiians wear? What are the dresses that they wear? I can't think of them now. I
want to say sarong, but that's like that's an Indonesian thing, I think.
I've gone blank.
I can't remember.
But they were wearing like that, and then they had the lathe with like the flowers and stuff, like just full taking absolute mick, and it was great. That was good. That made it just a little bit more relaxed, I think. But so cringe though.
Well, I'm glad it didn't make it to air. There's some things where you're just like, this is not working out.
Shout out to Warner Brothers. Thank you for not putting that up. I really appreciate that.
Appreciate it. So is there anything is there something behind the scenes that viewers would be shocked to learn?
Yeah, there is a few moments. I haven't spoken about it. I'm denied about whether I do talk about it, but I do want to. I want to draw on, there was one moment, especially early on. So I had the fight with Corey after I went on my date. First date with Ziara. Now that was tough for me because Corey and I actually roomed together before you go in. So basically everyone's paired up in a hotel and you go in and you do like pre-shooting stuff. So like, where you see the entrance where we're at the beach and all that, that's pre-shooting. So that's before we even go into the house. And him and I roomed together. And yeah, I thought, he's a bit different, but I can get along with him. Like, we have our own time where, he'll go his way, I'll go my way. But all up, I knew I was like, there's something just not quite right about this guy. But I was like, I don't mind him. Like, I can tolerate him. Like, it's okay.
Like clashing egos almost?
He was just a bit different. And I'm like, that's fine. Everyone's different. That's no worries. But I'm like, probably is not 100% my cup of tea, but we let's see what happens. Let's see if we can develop a friendship.
Yep.
And I thought we did towards the end because we were supposed to only be in the hotel for one day, but there was really bad storms. So I think we did it we were in there for 3 days. So we ended up in we were playing games and stuff like that just to kill time. We ended up in I don't know if I should be saying this, but we ended up in the TV and we were able to get Netflix and stuff on the TV, which was
nice.
That was really good. I ended up and hooked up a few of the other boys, so I was jumping balconies and stuff to hook up the other boys with Netflix. So they were very, very happy about that.
Oh, because you're not allowed to have anything external?
No. Yep. So they were very, very happy with me for sure.
Love that.
But yeah, so that friendship sort of started to blossom early on, and I was like, okay, like I don't mind this guy. It's interesting because I was like, let's kind of pair up almost, and let's, they're not going to suspect us. Me and you, an American from Atlanta, and a country boy from Victoria to sort of team up a little bit. And, we were going to share if people were talking about us and stuff like that. We spoke about that in the hotel. I was like, let's pair up because no one's going to suspect it.
Little alliance.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, after the first date, I came back and it was the first full day we were in the house. And I was like, I wonder what's been going on. Like, because I'd been out on the date all day. So I left at about 10:30, 11 a.m. and I'd been out all day. And I was like, I wonder what they've been doing. And they deliberately held me back. So everyone else was in before I was. They deliberately held me back. So obviously something had been brewing in there, but I had no idea. I was just sitting in the van going, just want to get back in, have a shower because I'd been swimming at a waterfall, stuff like that. I want to have some food and see what the boys been doing. And I went in and went over to him and sort of patted him on the shoulders because I'm, from my football background, it's a bit like that, hey mate, what's going on? Pat on the back, all that sort of stuff. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
No.
And he just goes, don't touch me. And I was like, what have I done? Anyway, as you see on the clips, he sort of says, I don't want you in the room anymore. We had a bit of an argument about it. And I was like, I'm not staying somewhere where I'm not wanted. I'm out, mate. I'm out. No worries. So I went up, started packing my shit. Stupidly, this is where is that I went and told my producer, I was like, what do I do? I've just been told that I'm getting kicked out of the room by one of the other boys. And he goes, just go and get your stuff. We'll sort it out. No worries. And they held me back for about 5 minutes. They're like, I'll just wait out here. And they put cameras in the corner. And as soon as I walked in, I was like, what's going to happen here?
So they stitched you up?
Yeah, big time.
They're like, we want to get this argument on film.
Yeah. And I was like, I shouldn't have said anything. As soon as I'd seen the cameras in there, I was like, oh, great, something's going to happen here. So I start packing my shit and I'm just like, this honestly, he's just being jealous the whole time.
So he was just jealous that you got the first date and he was mad.
Yeah. Right. And I wouldn't say anything about the date.
Yep.
And I deliberately did that because I didn't want to seem like I was, boasting about it.
Yep.
So I was like, they were like, did you kiss her? All that sort of stuff. I'm like, gentleman never tells, boys. Gentleman never tells.
Yep.
Because I knew that if I said something that they'd go back to her and say, Darcy was saying that he kissed you, all that sort of stuff.
Right.
And I did kiss her and it was fantastic. But I wasn't going to say that to anybody. I was like, there was only one person I told and he got eliminated that night. So it was quite interesting that when I went in, because I was like, all right, go and say good day to him. He's trying to kick me out of the room. And I go up there and I'm packing away and he walks in and I was like, here we go.
Yep.
We have an argument back and forth. It was basically just him being jealous the whole time, which you do see that part in the actual show.
Yep.
What you don't see, though, is he actually throws some homophobic slurs at me. Called me a fag and told me to take my homophobic touch and get the out of the room. And I looked at him and I was like, are you for real, mate? I was like, what the Like, in this day and age as well, come on, mate, honestly.
That is so interesting because like you say, in Australia as a footy boy, like tapping each other on the shoulder, touching, giving each other a hug, whatever. It's all very normal.
Yeah.
But
ass taps, all that sort of stuff.
But it's normal in America too. If you play American football, they're all the same. Like team sports are the same. Yeah. So I think that was probably just.
Do you reckon insecurities a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah, insecurities and jealousy, just finding a way to make you out to be bad guy or something that you're not.
Yeah.
But totally unacceptable.
Absolutely.
Totally unacceptable.
Absolutely. And that I just couldn't believe it. I was in shock. I just looked at him and I'm like, really?
So what do you do about something like that? Did you tell the producers and they
so they were listening to the whole conversation.
Yeah.
Because right as you see on the film as well, as I'm about to leave the room, he's trying to open the door for me and I'm like, I know what he's trying to do here. He's trying to make it look like he's kicking me out. And I'm like, you're not in the door. I'll do it myself. Get out of my way.
Yep.
Right? I know what you're trying to do. Don't do it. And he was like, no, chivalry ain't dead. I'm going to open the door for you. And I'm like, mate, get out of my face right now. I'm like, get out of my face. And then we were like, right here, each other. And then the producers stepped in. As we were face to face and the producers were pulling us apart, I sort of said to him, and you do see this on it, and for people that are watching, they'll go, why did he say that? Because I said to him, I'm like, I thought you didn't like homophobic. Why are you getting in my face then?
Right.
And that's
but
the
But
context.
they didn't put all the other stuff from before into the show. Right.
So you see that part, and if you're watching it and you're a decent detective, you go, what the are you talking about?
Yep.
That's what that was all in relation to.
So I'm assuming yours and his friendship was basically over at that point in the show. Did you ever have any heat after that?
So I actually spoke to the big dogs, the executive producers after that. They sort of sat me down and sort of said, look, we can't air a lot of that. There's a lot that we can't air. They're like, because that'll make him look really bad and we don't want to do that. And they're like, we don't want you to talk about it either. So what happened we don't want you to talk about. And I was like, okay, you've got these big execs that have, hired you to come in and, be on the show. Of course you're going to listen to them.
Yep.
So I just sat back and didn't say anything about it. I wish I had have, to be honest. the one regret that I really do have, and I really wish I'd have told her, was I wish I'd have told Ziara.
Yep.
You know, because she took
she didn't know.
She had no idea. So
True.
we spoke about it after the show had ended because her partner at the time, Isaiah, told her about what had happened, because I spoke to him about it a little bit, and that was because post-show, there's about a couple of month gap between filming and then the show being aired, of course.
Yep.
And we had like a weekend up in Sydney, and I sort of spoke to him about it a little bit, and she rang me and she's like, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, I got told not to. And I'm like, this is probably one biggest regret that I have, is that I didn't tell you.
Yep.
I'm like, because you would have seen through all the bullshit then.
Did that dude make it pretty far?
Unfortunately, made it to the final, which
Right. Gotcha.
which really did annoy me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, realistically, probably should have been me that was there.
Yep.
But seeing him up there, and I'm going to be honest, I'm glad he didn't win it. I'm so glad he didn't win it.
Totally.
He didn't deserve it at all.
No, absolutely. By the sounds
but yeah,
of it.
I do have that regret, and I've spoken to Ziara about it, and I just sort of said, look, I'm so sorry that I didn't, tell you.
I assume he was he was an F-boy?
No, he's a nice guy.
Really?
I know. What are the odds?
What a liar.
I know. He's full of mate, honestly. But
Totally.
no, that was probably one of the toughest things, and I've dealt with that mentally for a while. It's like whether I say in an open space about it or not. And I think I'm at that point now where I'm like, I'm pretty comfortable to speak about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's pretty crazy. Some people have no awareness of their surroundings. Like
No.
the idea that you would make homophobic slurs,
Yeah.
any slur,
yeah.
on not live, but on a reality TV show
Yeah.
where the producers can paint you out to be whatever
Yeah.
whatever they want
Yeah.
is insane.
Big time.
Insane.
And the fact that, like, call me whatever you want, I don't mind. Like, I was laughing about it basically, because I was like, this guy's just showing exactly who he is.
His colours,
to everyone.
true colours,
To
yes.
everyone. And then when he said that, I was like, because I've got cousins that are gay and all that sort of stuff. I love them bits. They're fantastic.
Yep.
Right? But just to say that, and I'm just like, for real, mate? Like, are you serious? Like, our host
We're
is
in 2024.
Yeah, exactly. Our host is bisexual.
Yep.
Like, she's fantastic. All that sort of stuff. It's pushed, like, to be inclusive,
Yes. Yes.
And to go and say that, I was just like, mate, that's just that's
so out
low
of pocket.
grade. Yeah,
so out
big
of pocket.
time. And it did rattle me. And they did actually, another little quick one, they did bring in extra security after that.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So they had one person initially, and then they had two in the house after that.
Well, probably smart because you are a big boy. Like, it's hard to see on like social media, but you're like what, 6'4"?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
6'4".
like 105 kilos.
Oh, I'm about
something like that.
I'm 100 at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Pretty
100 at the
lean.
moment. Yeah.
Like it's big boys basically.
Yeah. And
So if
he wasn't
popped
small
off-
either. He
Yeah.
wasn't small either, but still, like, to have that extra security in there, I sort of laughed to myself one day. I'm like, yeah, that's because of me and Corey,
Yeah, totally.
basically.
Totally.
Yeah, they tried to do it subtly, but it wasn't very subtle because it went from one big dude to two big dudes standing next to one another. I was like,
Classic.
that's hilarious.
This episode brought to you by BLCKWAVE Supplements. Go to their website, www.blckwave.com, and get the best supplements known to man. What's the biggest misconception people have about you after watching the show, if any?
Oh, that's a good question, mate. I guess kind of like what you see on the show is what you get a little bit. To a degree it was, but there were parts of it that were just really enhanced because that whole environment is just so enhanced. Everything is so pressurized. I call it like it's like a pressure cooker. Like reality TV is a pressure cooker, and if you can cope, you can cope. If you can't, you'll explode.
Yep.
And I think that was my downfall, is that I just couldn't cope with a lot of it. I couldn't cope with, I guess, so the conditions were pretty shit. So we were on bunk beds and stuff like that, sleeping in. Oh, mate, I could barely fit on a bunk bed.
Was the food decent?
Food was fantastic. That was
Okay.
the best thing. One of the best things about it was the food. So it was full catered for and everything, which was great.
Great.
But the sleeping and that sort of, like, I was struggling to get a good few hours in. The first night, so we had our mixer, met the girls, that sort of thing. I got my first date. The first night, I reckon I slept an hour, if that.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I'm a stickler. If I don't get 6 or 7 plus, I'm pretty
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I can cope, I can do what I need to do, but I can get pretty grumpy.
Yeah.
And that just wore me down.
Yeah.
Slowly wore me down. And I could see it on the photos and the show itself. Like, I was like, I'm going from looking really fresh
Yeah.
to slowly looking really, really tired. And then the
Yeah.
last sort of day that I was in there, I'm like, I look like I need about 24 days sleep.
Yeah.
Like, I look
Yeah, imagine.
Yeah.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
I do not handle not sleeping very well.
It's
I just
tough.
do not handle it.
it's tough.
And especially when you're in like a scenario like that where you're trying to obviously think about what you're saying before you
Yeah,
say it.
yep.
And I think it's almost maybe it's even a strategy by the higher ups to have you in a little bit of a sleep deprived state, because that's when the drama starts to pop off.
Yeah,
I don't
big
know.
Big time. There would be some sort of, something that they've concocted like that, definitely.
Yeah.
But those bunk beds, man, like I can't fit. My head's touching one metal end, my feet are hanging over the other metal end.
Yeah,
As soon as you get like anything cold on your feet, I don't know about you, but if I get something cold on my feet and I'm trying to sleep, it instantly wakes me up.
Yeah.
So that happened
100%.
a lot. So I was in the fetal position a lot, trying to sleep. I'm just like in a ball.
That's rough.
Yeah, it was tough.
So you said the food was good. Like, what kind of food we're talking here? And what was the gym like? You said you trained there?
Gym was, so before we went in, we sort of spoke to producers and sort of said to them, like, what sort of gym do you have? Like, so I'm a pretty keen worker outer, love getting in and throwing a bit of iron around.
Yep.
And they sort of said, oh, what do you want? And when they said that, I'm like, oh, they've got nothing.
Yeah.
They've got nothing.
True.
I'm like, right, well, anything you can get us, just get us whatever you can get.
Yep.
So there was just a lot of like free weight stuff, basically. There was no squat racks, no nothing. It was just like a couple of, dumbbells, a couple of barbells. We had like a heap of mats as well too. There wasn't a hell of a lot. So it was quite tough that you just get the pump on with the arms and the shoulders and that sort of thing. You do some ab stuff and that'd be about it. Legs got deprived. They did big time. So I come back with skinnier calves. I've got skinny calves now, but I went in with skinnier calves.
Possible. We never knew possible.
I know.
Classic.
That was interesting, that part of working out. Like, we went from, or I did anyway, I was pretty strict because I found out, some of the boys only found out about a week before they were going in. I found out 2 months.
Right.
So I had a lot of time. So I was like, right, I'm not going on, not looking good.
You attacked it hard for 8 weeks, so you were looking crisp.
No,
and you could afford a month
booze.
off, basically.
Yeah, no booze. Like, just the cleanest of eating I've ever done in my life. I was working out, I reckon, 2 hours a day, as well as walking 10,000 steps at work every day. Like, I was just smashing myself. And that is the shreddedest I've ever been. I was so fit. Like, I'm trying to get back to that. But it's bloody tough because you go morning and night and you're working as well. You
need to be motivated. You need to have a special motivation to get down to single digits body fat. And looking like if you want to look like the front page of like a fitness magazine, you really do. It's a full-time job.
Oh, big time, big time.
But
how do you go with it, by the way? Because you look fantastic, by the way.
Thanks,
mate.
man. I always train pretty consistently, but when I go to America, I always have that special motivation I was just discussing.
Yeah,
and I'm able to block out the noise and just stay on track, say no to the partying, say no to the bad food, say yes to the extra cardio. But it's only when I've got something like that, like America looming over me, that I can really turn the gears on. Whereas like normal, like I would say right now, I don't have that special motivation. And I'm like 105 kilos right now, but
lean muscle, ladies, of lean muscle.
I wish. But when I go over to America, I'm between 90 and 95.
Yeah,
and
wow.
shredded.
Yeah. You got to be looking good for the camera, bro.
Absolutely.
You got to be looking good for the camera.
But to be honest, like, I've always had a pretty consistent training regime. My downfall is just the food. Like, I can I've got like a exceptionally large appetite. And no off switch. Like if you put 2 big meals in front of me,
you're gonna eat them both.
I'd eat them both.
They're gone.
And it wouldn't be hard for me to do. I wouldn't be like struggling. Like some people tell me, like, because I used to be a personal trainer in another life, and I literally would have clients who were like, I just can't eat the food you're telling me to eat. And it wasn't even like a huge amount. And they're just like, I just don't like it. And I never understood it because I'm just like someone who, even if I don't like the food, if in my head I'm like, this is the protein allotment I need to eat for today, even if it's like lean chicken breast or lean kangaroo or whatever it is, and I don't really enjoy it, guess what? I'm still just going to shovel it in.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
do you reckon that's from, so I reckon similar thinking, like my upbringing, and I don't know about you, but when I was younger, if you don't eat what's on your plate, you're going hungry.
Dude,
do you think,
I have a story.
Did you have the same thing?
Yeah, I have a story from my old man. Like, bless his cotton socks. He's a Greek dad who doesn't take no shit. And I said once, like, it was spaghetti bolognese. So my old man, He was forced to eat like this bowl of pasta when he was
Yeah.
a kid. He leveled up, pushed my face in it, used the bread to wipe my face, and then eat it.
No way.
And since then, I always finished my plate.
Yep.
Now some people
Don't want that to happen again, do ya?
Yeah, no, exactly. Now some people out there might be like, "That's traumatic." I'm like, not really.
No.
Like, but it's a funny story because
If you eat your food, it happens once. That's
exactly
it.
right. Exactly right.
It's not going to happen again.
Exactly right. So my upbringing was always not just eat as much as you possibly can. It was almost like a subliminal message because my grandma, like Greek upbringing, like she
The Greek
would,
feast would have been unreal,
dude,
mate.
and she would always watch me eat, and it would be like when I was like halfway through the meal, I'd kind of look somewhere else, talk to my grandpa, look back over, and the plate would be refilled.
Oh, that's
you know what I mean?
outstanding.
So you're just kind of used to eating until you've had your fill. But I must have a genetic something to do with my like appetite where I'm just able to eat a outrageous amount of food.
And
It
still
served
look
me well.
shredded as,
Well, it
yeah,
served me well
yeah.
because it served my training really
Yeah.
well, and it makes me look the way I look. But also, if I skip training for like a few weeks, I can definitely put on the fat really easily because the food doesn't stop. I still eat as much. Like some people are like, if I don't train, I lose my appetite. That's not me.
Yeah.
My appetite
still
is
stays
100% the whole time.
That's fantastic. I've always wanted to get around a Greek feast.
Yeah, it's
I've always said this. I've always wanted to just see the dynamic. Is you got a lot of big personalities as well too at the table. So I'd always wanted to see a massive Greek feast and even just be involved in it because I'd love that sort of food. It's fantastic.
Greek people are so much fun.
Oh, they are.
Yep.
I haven't met a bad Greek person, to be honest, mate. I haven't.
They don't exist.
No.
They don't exist. The
No.
Greeks are amazing.
They are indeed.
Last time I met you, you were dating a full service worker.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that like? Like, are you a jealous person when it comes to that?
To be honest, mate, I was fine with it.
Yep.
I really was, because I knew at the end of the day she's coming home to me.
Yep.
And this will be a bit of a shock to you, but I did love her.
Yep.
I used to tell her a little bit that I did love her, but it obviously didn't work out, of course. But no, I was fine with it. I really was. I had no issue because I knew that she was coming home to me. She was fully transparent with everything that would happen, which is fantastic. That's all I wanted, to be honest.
Yep.
Like,
that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
you talk to
exactly,
anyone
exactly.
in any form of open relationship, and it's all about honesty and transparency.
Yeah, big time. And she was. It was. I reckon it might have been tough for her a little bit seeing me in the spotlight a little bit, maybe.
Yep.
That she might have struggled a little bit with that, with the attention side of things that I do get from time to time.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I never asked her about that, but I just could sense it. When you can just sense things, and that was one thing that I could just sense is that she didn't feel comfortable at times when I would go and do these things, or if I went to an event or something like that. It's almost like she was a little bit, and I'm like, I just never got it.
The spotlight was off her and on you, sort of thing.
Maybe. I don't know.
Was she shitty about the girls that were like giving you attention?
I don't know. It could have been a bit of both. It could have been a bit of both. I don't know. There was a couple of times where I had events like fashion events and stuff that I would go to, and like it was almost like she was just really arky and. I'm just like, hey, look, it's all good.
Yeah.
Like I'm with you. It's all good.
Yep.
And I don't know. I just don't know whether she listened or whatnot. But yeah, it did shine through. But I never asked her about it. I probably should have. There was a few things I probably should have asked her about, but I didn't.
Right.
But no, she was very good. It was a very good relationship for me to have, to finally find that feeling.
Yep.
I know it was short lived. That's okay. But it was amazing to actually feel that love.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I honestly, in my 28 years that I've been alive, I would have never have thought that would have been the situation that I would have been in to find my first love.
Yeah,
that's
right.
crazy. It really is. Like,
so good.
Yeah. So I'm not really a jealous person because I know at the end of the day, like, she's coming home to me.
Yep.
And I hate to sound arrogant, but like, if you think you can get better, go for it.
Yep.
You're with me because I'm the best. So
yep.
That's just how I see it.
Mad.
I'm paraphrasing Robert Pattinson a little bit, but his partner, he talks about the same sort of thing with his partner.
Yeah, right.
Same sort of thing. And that's my mindset as well too, is that, if you want somebody else, go and get them. But you don't because you want me. So
that's the best way to think about it, really.
Yeah.
If they want to go, let them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if not,
exactly.
You're here with me.
Exactly.
Well, in saying that, what does your dating life look like right now? Like are you single right now? Like what would you say that you're
complicated? Mate.
Complicated.
Complicated is how I'd call it. It's very early days at the moment. It's very complicated. I can't reveal too much.
Fair enough.
Just because she's also been on a reality TV show as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a bit complex.
We love complicated around here.
You love it, but you hate it. You love to hate it, mate. Honestly, but no, she's a cool
things
chick.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, she's a cool chick. And I just never would have seen it coming, to be honest.
Yep.
Just beautiful, beautiful person, beautiful to look at, but not usually my type. To be fair, I don't really have much of a type. I don't say that I have a type, but not the usual person that I would probably go for.
Yep.
But I just sort of, her personality shone through, and I was like, you're fantastic. Like, you're just amazing to be around.
Great.
And, you know, the vibe's always good all the time.
Love that.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very happy with that.
That's all
mate.
that matters. Hey,
Yeah.
like a lot of the girls that I've seen in the past have just been girls that like I've hung out as friends,
Yeah.
and you're like, you know, you're really cool.
Yeah.
You know, and then all
I reckon it's the best way to meet someone nowadays. Like, dating apps are horrendous.
I never
honestly.
use them. I have
Don't
it.
do
I
it,
have
bro.
it
Don't do
downloaded
it.
on my phone. I never use them.
Don't do it. I swear to God, they're a waste of time.
Yep.
Honestly, it's almost like it's an ego stroke for both parties, almost a little bit.
Yep.
Like, and it's so much easier just to go, oh, if you see one flaw, right? You see one flaw in someone, it might be minute. You can just go, nah, next one.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yeah.
And then you just fall in that rabbit hole of next. Next. It's just a waste of time. That's why for 2 or 3 years, I reckon, I haven't really bothered with the dating apps at all.
Where do you meet girls then normally?
Just out and about.
Yep.
Go up to people, talk to people that know people. That's just how I do it. And I like it like that because you get a good gauge of, is that person interested? You know, that sort of thing. Like, you can tell pretty quickly. Whereas the dating apps, obviously you swipe right, whatever it is, you get your tick. Yep, no worries. They're obviously interested in it a little way, but it can be hard to get a read of over the phone, that sort of thing. So face to face, I think, is so much better, honestly.
Definitely.
How have you finding the women? Like, where are you finding them at the moment?
Well, the reason I don't like dating apps mostly is because when I tell them what I do for work, it's just crickets.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? Maybe I need to meet them in real life, which I have been doing. Like, I've been trying to get myself out there a little bit more, but I don't really drink. I had a bit of a party week this week with a couple of friends up from Canberra.
You're a bit dusty today, mate, are you?
Yeah, a little bit dusty, but I feel all right. I feel all right. Like, yesterday was way worse.
Yeah.
But normally it's Instagram because if they've been following me and we're chatting and they're not a fan, I don't want someone who like idolizes me to be my partner.
It's weird, isn't it? That would be a bit odd.
Super odd. But at least
have you had that? Sorry, if you don't mind me asking.
No, well, I've had I guess I've worked with girls who are like, oh my god, and like whatever, but I've never I don't find that attractive. Like, I don't that's not a prerequisite to me being like actually attracted to you. You know, like, I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who puts me on a pedestal, because I want someone to be able to pull me up when I'm being, you know what I mean, or when I'm not doing what I should be doing. So yeah, basically Instagram's good because they know what I've been doing for a living. They're okay with it if they're, you know, agreeing to a date. Yeah. And then we can just carry on like we're in a normal partnership. Yeah. But it's the getting to know someone on like a dating app, and then
you have to disclose.
And then disclosing what you do.
It's a big bombshell,
and then
isn't
it? Well, it can be.
Yeah.
Especially to people who aren't in the industry. Like now that I'm in the industry and I know what, like, because work, like if you look at my Instagram or my Twitter, and you see like how I interact with the girls, it's very like cute and sweet, and like I make it out like that. Yeah. And like we have a great relationship, the girls and I, that we work with, but it's like not as lovey-dovey as I would make it seem on the Instagram if you watch the videos. But if you're
Instagram's a false reality anyway, mate.
Totally.
Honestly.
But if you're a girl who's like been on a few dates with me and you're watching that from the outside,
it would be tough.
You're thinking, oh, this guy's in love with all the girls that he's working with. You know, he's got these like little pseudo relationships with all these girls. And then you start to think of like, you know, the worst scenarios that you can ever come up with are usually fabricated in your own head by your own imagination. Yeah. So I think it's tough to date. Like with how active I am doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's tough to date in general, but then with what you've got going on as well too, that just puts a whole nother world of, you know, interesting. Yeah, totally. Big time.
But there are some cool chicks that are that are totally okay
big
with
time,
it.
and they're your type of people, mate. You know what I mean?
It's just
like, that's what it is.
It's just a matter of you have to sort through everyone else, and it's just a little bit harder to find. But mate, to be honest, I'm not like, I've only just recently started to be more open to actual dating.
There you go, ladies.
So you know,
if you're
out there,
let me know.
me know. But
I do have one question.
Please.
Well, not even more of a question, more of a statement. Like I'm not in the industry. Just so everyone knows, I'm not in the industry, but I'm friends with a lot of people that are, and I can see how it can be quite difficult. But you are all, it's like a big family. These guys are like one big family, and I really like that, and I respect that a lot about how it all works.
Yep.
But it's very much stigmatized, I think, still, to be honest.
It's a very small community, the people who do OnlyFans
Yeah.
and worker community in general.
Yeah.
So like I feel, and because it's not a regulated industry, there's no HR, like there's no like, so everyone.
Would you be in trouble, do you reckon, if there was HR? Do you
Definitely
reckon
not. No? Definitely not. But what I mean is
Yeah.
that means that there's like everyone's really close. If there's like something that's gone down, there's
everyone
like
knows
group
about
chats
it. Yeah.
that people are
Yeah.
like, hey, watch out for this
Yeah.
person.
That's a good way to be,
whatever.
to be honest. Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
I think it's great, and that's like why it's such like a close knit community, is because like we're all kind of looking out for each other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's I personally love it. But that is actually something that surprised me about you, in that you were at Sexpo and you're a good looking dude, and I was surprised that you didn't actually have a side piece of an OnlyFans that like you kind of like had going in the background while you're on these reality shows, because that's kind of how people normally do it. Like they
Yeah.
go on The Bachelor, and that like feeds into their Instagram, feeds
Yeah.
into their OnlyFans for extra money, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
Have you ever thought about doing OnlyFans?
To be honest, not really, no.
Fair enough.
Nah, it's just not my thing, to
Fair
be
play,
honest.
man.
Like, I don't get me wrong, like, I love, all that sort of stuff, but, you know, I don't think I could get away with, you know, some of the stuff that people put out there, to be honest, so I just don't bother. And I feel like it would put me down into a place that I don't want to be in, almost, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I know I don't want it to sound like it's a bad thing, because you
No.
love what you do.
No, not at all.
But I just don't think I could do it, to be
Absolutely.
honest. I just don't think I could do it.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
Absolutely
It's
is an
tough
acquired
enough. Like,
taste.
don't get me wrong. Like, I'm happy to have my shirt off, that sort of thing. That's probably where I draw the line. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I had one of my old housemates. She won't mind me mentioning this. She rang me the other day and sort of said, "Oh, it's me sister's hens. Can you come and be like a topless waiter?" And I was like, if you had have organised it a bit better, I would have actually done it. That's probably where I draw the line. Something like that.
Nice.
Anything more, and I'm like,
Have you done any hens nights or anything like that before?
no, I haven't, but I reckon it'd be a bit of fun.
Oh,
You just
mate,
have a laugh.
they're
That's
so
what it would
harmless.
be. Yeah, exactly.
People, like, it's not like Bucks nights where they're partying with like heaps of alcohol and like deep into the night. It's really different and interesting, the difference between a hens night and a Bucks night.
Yeah.
Hens night is like usually early in the day, they're having like a...
They're not off their absolute tree.
No, they're having a few drinks.
Yep.
They're having like cheese and crackers. They're playing a few games, having a laugh. And
Yep.
then I do, you know, I'm like topless waiting, filling their drinks, and then like do a strip at the end.
Yeah.
And they're all just like, that was amazing.
And
and then they're off to their next
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
Whereas like Bucks nights, it's
Oh,
so
man, they're
different.
wild.
Like
They're so wild, aren't they?
and the shows that girls do at the Bucks nights are very different to the shows that like I as a male stripper do
Yeah.
at a hens night.
Yeah.
Like a male stripper is like Magic Mike. It's like a lot of dancing, and you end up getting like
Again,
10
sorry,
seconds
real
at
quick.
the end.
Another reason why I'd be a terrible stripper. Can't dance.
Can't dance.
Can't dance.
Right.
There we go.
That is important.
Yep.
I mean, it is important, but also I've seen some pretty dancing from some like male strippers before. So
That makes me feel a bit better now.
Yeah,
mate. Thank you.
it's
I
not
appreciate
exactly a prerequisite.
Yeah.
But like if you look at a female stripper at a Bucks night, it's almost always, they call themselves showgirls.
Yeah.
And it's almost always like a live, it's not a sex show, not with someone else, but it's a live sexual show.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
they'll bring, they'll strap like a to the
Buck's head,
head,
yeah,
and he can
yep.
headbutt her. Like,
Yeah.
like there's like or she'll like fire darts out of through like a blow dart thing, and
That's
like, and
pretty-
pop balloons.
look,
Like it's different.
It's
just very
different, but it's quite impressive that
Oh, dude,
they
it's
can do
cool.
it. That is. I'm like, I just want to see it happen. Like, I don't even need to be like, you know,
I've seen
drinking
a
20
few of them.
beers and
Yeah.
watch it. Like, I just like, how do you do that?
Dude, it's cool. Like and it's
Kegel muscles must be insane.
absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just such a fascinating view to look at like the difference in the comparison between, you know, the different gender parties.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
like obviously men are much more stimulated by proper visual sexual things, whereas women seem to be liking more what they can imagine or what doesn't even have to, like if you were to rock into a group of women wearing a really nice tailored suit, smelling good, you know, just looking like a fresh gentleman, like you'll probably see as many wet in that room as if you were to walk in shirtless.
Yeah.
you know, in a pair of shorts.
Yeah.
Like, for real. Whereas,
Yeah.
like, dudes, if a chick's in, like, a hot corporate attire, yeah, maybe,
Yeah,
but
okay,
also...
for a minute, but
yeah,
then they'd be like, okay.
yeah, but also, if she came in, like, fully naked... totally different
Yeah.
story. I think it's
Yep.
just a different way that that the different genders compute
Yeah.
sexuality.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Big
But
time.
I love it. Like, it's actually a really fun job, and
Yeah.
I don't find I get disrespected a lot at these things. Like, I think they're just really pleasant, to be
Yeah,
honest.
and that's a good thing, because if you were, you wouldn't want to do it, would you?
I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
exactly.
do it. I don't need to do
Exactly.
them. I do
Yeah.
them for fun, and I
Yeah.
do them for, like, a little bit of extra money.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not my main income, and it's definitely not something that I do that I would do if I felt like it was like pulling teeth every time I did it.
Oh, that'd be tough.
Like,
I don't know how you can do it. Yeah,
I would
couldn't
hate
do
to
it.
be a girl going to Bucks nights,
Yeah.
because, like, I'm sure men are more misbehaved around, like, the showgirls than
yeah,
they
God,
are
yeah,
around
yeah.
me. Or than they. Than
We
the girls
won't
are
pretend
around me.
like we don't, because we do. You know what I mean? It's just a guy thing. It really is. It's just a guy
Well, it's a
thing.
guy. It's a bunch of dudes on the piss together,
Yeah.
like, for an event. And to be honest, like, I had an ex who did like topless waitressing, and it was never like anything crazy, but just like things like dudes getting a bit handsy,
Yeah,
or
it's a bit too
like
much,
like filming them
yeah.
without their knowledge, like, just
Yeah.
like, you know, just dumb stuff.
How did you go with that, if you don't mind me asking? So we did touch on me with my ex. How did you deal with that? Like, dating someone within the industry like that?
Well, my ex never really worked with other people. She
Yeah.
worked with like 2-3 other people. I'm
Yeah.
a very jealous person. I didn't
Yeah.
handle it very well.
Yeah.
It's something that I'm, like, working on myself,
Yeah.
because if I want to keep doing this job, I know I'm probably going to need to find someone who understands what I do,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
understands it intimately, and is probably doing it as well.
Yeah.
And I'm totally down for it. It's
Yeah.
just I need to do some self-work to be okay with
And
that.
I'm very impressed that you've recognised that, mate, because you could just bury your head in the sand and just go, you know what, no, it's...
Well,
I'm
I did.
not-
Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I buried my head
Yeah.
in the sand for a long time, but
Yeah.
I think it gets to a point where you're just like, look, all right, realistically, if this is going to be something that if I want to find
Yeah.
a long-term partner that I love, I
Yeah.
need to I need to address a few of the things that,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
create this animosity in the relationship, and then
Yeah.
I look back, like, that's
Good on
something
you, man.
that did.
It's not easy, because a lot of people, they will just keep burying their head in the sand. But the fact that you've got that ability to go, hey, look, I do have an issue here and I need to deal with it, I have a
Yeah.
lot of respect for that,
Yep.
because I think it's not enough people do it. They're just happy going, you know
Dude.
what, I'm not the problem. I'll go and get somebody. Oh, you know what I mean? Somebody else will come along. You know, they won't fix themselves. And a lot of
100%.
people aren't ready for relationships. They haven't fixed themselves completely. And I think that's why a lot of them do fail. I think is because a lot of people are just still too damaged, and they can't actually deal with certain situations that they're put into relationship wise. And it just is a recipe for disaster. But the fact that you've been able to recognise that's fantastic, mate. So
Thank you
if
very
I was wearing a
much.
hat, I'd take it off right now.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to my next relationship journey. I think it's going to be a completely different one.
I'm looking forward to hearing about it too, mate.
Thanks,
I am.
man.
I am.
Thanks,
I'm
man.
looking forward to hearing about the love bubble that you're in.
Mate, I can't wait.
Do you do pet nicknames? Do you or not?
Not really.
No,
Not really.
can't
I'm not.
stand 'em. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know
not.
about you.
I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Not really. I think.
I was talking to someone, right, and they were. This is interesting. Again, dating apps. This is where the problem is a little bit. Is that this woman was talking to a guy on the dating apps, and within like a couple of days, he's calling her Pookie and stuff like that. And
Classic.
I'm like, that is no way. Like,
Nah.
no, don't even. I would have just unmatched him right there
Yeah,
and then.
nah.
I'm like, I couldn't. And she even said, she goes, it was weird. And I'm like, it's because it is weird.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
way too early if
Yeah,
you're
I
going to do it at all. But Pookie, like, come on.
Nah. I think Babe's about as far as I
Yeah.
go. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, in terms of dating people in the industry, I think it's an adjustment for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not natural. Like dating someone who's sleeping with someone else in a regular modern monogamous relationship is not the social norm.
Yeah.
So you're kind of conditioned as that being a negative instantly, whether it's for work or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just fighting that conditioning
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that.
and
I get that
and
completely.
ignoring the primal knee-jerk reaction of your emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And being able to listen to the logical part of yourself, which is why it's important for me to like be in a good headspace, be training all the time, being like looking after my sleep, because that logical headspace becomes a lot louder and drowns out the primal knee-jerk reaction. But if I'm like tired or hungover or not looking after myself, eating junk food, like I'm much more likely to pop off. But that's like basically any person with anything that annoys you.
It's funny that you say that, because I've sort of recognised it a lot more recently, and that's why I'm barely drinking anymore now, and it's because of those. It's because of those reasons. Is the knee jerk reaction? I remember I was out at a club with my ex, and she was saying things. There was things that were said. And like normal me, my reaction would have been, I could hear it in my head saying, walk away, just go away. But I was like, no, you need to sit there and actually listen to what she's trying to say and all that sort of stuff. But if I was drunk, I reckon I just would have walked up the street. Yep. But that's why I was like, oh my God, like it's kind of scary to sort of see. And I was like, right, now I need to strip that back and stop drinking, that sort of thing. That's why I've pretty much just cut it, gone cold turkeys, because I make better decisions when I'm sober. I make better decisions. Like we're in a good headspace, you know, and that's the big thing for me at the moment as well. Is just make good decisions, and then good things come from those decisions.
Absolutely, yeah, mate. Good decisions come back to you tenfold. Yeah, 100%. Big time. I think you're only able to really crack your head open and see what's on the inside when you're really straight. Like when you're like sober, feeling good, pouring into your own cup. Yeah. But man, I'm looking forward to my next relationship. I think it's going to be a really good one. But for now, I'm just kind of
doing your thing,
doing my thing. Yeah. The thing is, I'm still really active with OnlyFans, and I just don't get out enough. Yeah.
Do you reckon there'll come a day when you'll be done with OnlyFans? What are your plans? Like,
great question. Yeah. I don't really have plans for the future.
You're like, just winging it a little bit.
Yeah, almost? Like I would love for this podcast to start to really take off on YouTube, so I can get some good pay from YouTube, and then, I mean, I'm even now, like I do like a big trip overseas, get like 4, 5, 6 months worth of content, and then I come back. Like I haven't really worked. I've done like 2 or 3 scenes between now and the last 5, 6 weeks. I did like
storing up the energy, mate.
Like and just getting myself like creating some normality in my life. And if I'm only doing 1 new release a week, I really don't need to be doing a lot more work. Like it's otherwise I'm so for me, it's like I don't even know what the future looks like, but I would love to have something that is non-sex work related that I can build up as a business. I have a supplement company that I have that I've not poured much energy into that I would like to build up. Like if I could get that making...
What's it called, mate?
What's it called? BlackWave.
Oh, there we go. BlackWave people, get onto BlackWave.
BLCKWAVE.com.
There we go.
Yeah, so that's like... essentially what I see for the future is having like some companies that are outside of sex work, but I really love what I do, and I think if I got old enough or got in a situation where like I had a few relationships and they just weren't working because of OnlyFans, I might think more seriously about skipping it. But
for now, while you love it, man, you might as well just keep doing it. If you're loving it and you're enjoying what you're doing, just keep doing it, because there's so many people
and I'm good at it. That's the thing. Like, it's not even just like the sex part. Like, I'm good. Like, no one else that I know really gets the amount of social media stuff at a collab. Like, I get all these social media collabs. I get at a collab, I get a podcast, I get photos, and then we do the sex scene. So like it's just the fact that it's just a stigmatized thing. But
while you're good at it, mate, just keep doing it. Because there's so many people that just hate their job, hate what they do, and that sort of thing. But you love what you do. Keep doing it for as long as you love it. Honestly,
well, every big name dude or girl that I can think of in the American scene has a long-term partner. Or they're married with kids, like Sir Kieran Lee. Kids, married. J-Mac, married. I'm not sure if he has kids. But like, it's just like they seem to, it's out there. If you want a long-term relationship while doing this job, it is literally there. And there are people out there, who don't even do OnlyFans, who are in open relationships, who are in non-monogamous relationships, who are in polyamorous relationships. So like those situations, even without the recording in the social media, are a thing. So I mean, it's just a smaller pool of people you have to find.
She's out there, mate. She's out there. Don't worry.
Which comes back to our thing before, where it's like you just got to be prepared to sift through 10, 20 partners that aren't for you
Yeah.
to find the one that is.
Yeah, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all.
Exactly.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that at all.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Mate, what does the future look like for you?
Whoa.
You got any more real reality TV plans?
Look, I'd be open to something, definitely. I don't know if it would be another dating show. If it was, it would have to be a better ratio, of probably 1-to-1.
Yep.
So I don't think I could, if I did like an FBoy Island-esque, I would look at doing, and there's been talks of it, F-Girl Island.
Okay.
So that would be,
you're one of the 3 dudes and there's 24 girls.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd be all for that, to
Yep.
be honest. That would be something I'd look at. I've always wanted the Amazing Race.
Okay.
Amazing Race. I love to travel.
Yeah.
Always travel and that sort of thing. And combining that with my love for competition
Yep.
and wanting to win, I would have a lot of fun with that, I think. I did say that I wanted to do it with my sister when I was younger.
Yep.
Could be on the cards. But there was also one of the other boys from the show, Clay. Him and I have this really good relationship where we jokingly sort of said, we should try and do something like that. And we do joke about, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but he made the joke and I rolled with it as well too. But we're like Rush Hour almost, because Clay's of Asian descent.
Yep.
And I'm not
You're not Chris Tucker.
I'm not Chris
Exactly.
Tucker, but we sort of bounce off each other like
Yeah,
that.
mad.
So, and we have a really good relationship like that. I've actually got a photo as well that he made for me for my birthday, Rush Hour 4, and it's his face, my face, cropped onto Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker's
best.
bodies. And it's hilarious. It's just that sort of stuff. I reckon him and I, although we would be super competitive, we'd also make for some good TV as well too.
Yeah, mad.
So he's in Sydney at the moment. When he gets back from Melbourne, I'm gonna have a chat to him and just say, hey, are you pretty keen on this? Because I'd be keen on it too.
You should.
So I think we'd do all right together, to be honest.
Mate, what does your training look like?
At the moment, so I've been trying to bulk a bit at the moment.
Yep.
So I've just been shoveling in food as much as I can, and I've been working out. So I do a 3-day split. I'll do back and tries with calves and core.
Yep.
And then I'll do legs, hammies, quads, whether it's a squat or a dead, whatever, I don't mind.
Do you follow a program or you just
So I do have a PT background as well. I
Yep.
haven't practiced in it, but like all the knowledge that I've picked up over going to the gym over the years and that sort of thing, I've been able to sort of tailor and go, oh, this doesn't work for me, but that does. Like you probably would have as well, to a little bit.
Yep.
But I just read something online. One of the old school bodybuilders, he would do this and it would work pretty well for him. So I was like, I'll just give it a go. So I've been trialing it for about 6-8 weeks, and I've put on 4 or 5 kilos.
Nice.
So I'm like, I'm doing alrighty. I'm feeling pretty good. So, and then the last one would be chest and buys with calves and core again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really enjoying that, but I've got to taper down a little bit now. So we're in a bit of a calorie deficit at the moment. So
yeah, true.
It's been a bit weird.
Coming.
Yes,
Summer's coming.
exactly. I'm trying to get it right for first day of summer, basically.
Yeah, beautiful.
But yeah, like I love working out. That's like one of my things.
Well,
I just really love it.
Yeah, I don't know about
the
you,
the feeling you get, mate. Like it's just so good. You can't beat it.
When I don't train, my mental health is definitely worse.
Yep, I'm
definitely.
the same.
Like, not that I'm crying in the corner, but I'm definitely feeling more negative about things,
you notice
negative
it, you're
about
flat.
situations.
Yep.
I'm a glass half empty person when I'm not training.
Yeah.
When I'm training, I'm a glass half full person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I can see the positives and things.
Yeah.
And not that I'm like completely that way when I'm not training, but I can see a definite shift on the spectrum towards glass half empty.
I've noticed that as well too. And that's like coming back to drinking a little bit as well too. Like if you skip a day, I'm just like, I feel like a piece of shit.
Yep.
You know, and you're like, I need to get in. And my rule was when I would drink, I would make myself go to the gym the next day.
Yeah.
Like, well, you've put that body.
Time to sweat it out.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Exactly right. But there was times where I'm just like, oh, like it's too tough. And you make excuses. But if you're sober, there is no excuse.
It's so easy to make an excuse when you're feeling trash from a hangover. Like that's, I think and also drinking in general, like having a night where you don't sleep at all and you drink like 30 drinks is something that will put you back in your fitness like 2-3 weeks. Just straight up, boom. Yeah. 2-3 weeks behind.
All the gains and all the muscle change that I've had happen is when I've just stopped drinking completely.
Yep.
And it's just fantastic, the benefits that come from it.
Man, I was just sick of spinning my wheels.
Yeah.
You know, training really hard through the week just to piss it all away on the weekend.
I know. It's just a savage cycle. A lot of people do it though. A lot of people do it. I tell people as well, one of the big things, obviously you got to get your food right, but that is a big one as well, is just if you can not drink, you will notice the changes just like that.
Yep.
And focus on how you feel as well too, like focusing on the good vibes that you get from working out. Like it's... Oh, it's unmatched. It really is. It's unmatched. And I love it when I see people that are a bit bigger, that aren't as fit, that are getting into the gym. I love seeing that because I'm like, they're making they want to make a change because they're in here trying to make a change. They're trying to, do the right things, get their body right.
I love that. I love people who take ownership over their current situation and just attack it.
I was at a gym a couple of months ago, and it was like a leisure link. Yeah, so I don't know if do you know what a leisure link is?
What is it?
So it's basically, I think it's like council funded, but you got like pool, spa, sauna, and then you got the big gym as well. And there was a kid in there. He would have been
kind of like a YMCA, like a cheaper version, accessible to everyone.
Yeah. And there was a kid in there with his mum, and they were both a little bit more overweight. The kid would have been 14, 15, but you don't see many of kids like that in there. And he was having a go, and he was struggling though. Good. And I turned to him and I said to him, I'm like, mate, you're doing amazing. I'm like, please keep going because, you're making a commitment to yourself and you're doing fantastic. I don't see anyone in here that is your age, your shape, doing what you're doing right now. Yeah. You'll thank yourself very soon, mate. Like, keep doing it.
So good.
And he just kind of he just said, oh, thanks. And his mum, like, the look on her face, she's like, oh, wow. Like, I don't think that happens enough. I think it needs to be happening a lot more.
I think there should be a massive push for fitness culture in youth. Like, for sure. Like, I think that every young teenage person, boy or girl, should be doing some serious training.
Big time.
Like,
big time.
I think there's too much opportunity to eat crap food, be sedentary, to be on your device until 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. and not get sleep.
You fall in the rabbit hole, don't you?
It's so easy to do. And there needs to be like programs or something that like pushes for the youth to get into some sort of structured exercise regime.
Yeah, big time.
That's not necessarily just sport. I think people can poo-poo gym because there are a lot of douchebags, and I was one of them at one stage who it seems like it's a lot about vanity, and it is. Like at the beginning, I was only training in the beginning to look good. Now,
let's be honest though, there is nothing wrong with that. If that's what you're there to do, there's nothing wrong with that. You want to make it as accepting for others as possible.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So I think that like right now, the best thing that like anyone who is under 21 can do is into some fitness, some hard fitness, some safe fitness, like not just like running till your knee cartilage is gone.
Yeah, don't do that.
Go to an actual gym, follow a structured program, learn about nutrition, learn about training. And
I think, I'll be honest, I think the Americans, they do it really well. I think, have you seen some of the college kids or even the high school kids coming through, like whether they're playing American football or basketball or whatnot, they're units. They are units, man. And that's because of that, because they've got their tailored programs, they've got all this sort of stuff, they've got the nutrition, everything's just sorted for them. Because they're going to these amazing schools that cater for everything. Those
elite sport kids, absolutely. Yeah. They've got it lucky, but I can, from someone who just came from America, the food is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't actually know what their general PT or PE kind of system is in school, but there is a lot of overweight kids there. Yeah. A lot.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually hard.
If you can look at those, I know they're in an elite category though, because they're in elite standards, but it's possible. Definitely. You know what I mean? It is possible. If you want to do it, it is possible.
Definitely.
And that's, I think that's where we fall behind just a little bit around in Australia. I think I reckon we're about 15, 20 years off in terms of like that sort of stuff, in terms of our people growing up into like pure adults. Like, because you see, like, especially with, I don't know if do you watch AFL at all?
Not really, no.
NRL?
Not really, no. I'm not a ball sports guy.
Okay, fair enough.
But I will watch it if I'm there with the lads, but it's not something I follow strictly.
Yeah, but if you see the difference of when a young 17, 18-year-old gets drafted, right, you look at, your American sports to Australia. Yeah, sometimes you've got your freak athletes that come into an Australian sport that can just pick it up straight away. But a lot of the time, they'll need a few pre-seasons before they can actually play, whereas I feel like, especially in America, they can just go plug and play because you're ready to go. You've been in the system for however many years. I feel like we're back waiting 15, 20 years. I feel like we could get up to that standard.
Well, yeah, they do a lot of in-school sports. Like they do like school wrestling, school whatever, like school football, school soccer.
If you were over there, right? If you were, let's just say hypothetically, if you were over in America, what would you reckon you would have done like in school sports?
If I was young?
Yeah.
Wrestling.
If you had your wrestling?
Wrestling, for sure. I would have probably be as...
WWE as well, eventually?
No. Just like real... Well... wrestling is brutal. Like it's the most fitness intensive sport you can do, and it's probably I probably would be even more injured.
Yeah.
That's why I recommend the gym to everyone.
Yeah.
Like the gym is something where you can control every variable. So like if you're someone who, like me, doesn't have knee cartilage, I never run. Never have
What'd you
to.
do, if you don't mind me asking?
Years of playing sport and doing dumb stuff at the gym. Like I love to squat, so I just squatted 3 times a week, no matter what.
Yeah.
Super deep. And I had a meniscus tear from rugby, which I would tear further with the squats, and like didn't do the rehab properly, didn't do the physio, just being young and dumb, banging my head burying my head in the sand. And like, so it's just, I think that done properly, you can, where we are currently, from my view, from like my past in personal training, is that the older generation who are overweight and really struggling to control their weight and their fitness and their health in general, they come from, if they were fit at one stage, they were fit through sports. But then they got a knee injury and they're like, I couldn't play tennis anymore, so I just stopped
completely.
Because they're like, I'm not confident enough to go to the gym. I've never done it. I don't know how to do it. I don't want to spend $90 an hour on a PT a few times a week and like whatever. Which, fair. But if we had a culture where people were learning how to use the gym in an effective way early on, like I will never be fat.
Yeah.
Pure, unless I want to be, unless my goal is to get fat. Yeah. Like
you never let yourself get to that point.
I don't. No. I will never be powerless against it. Yep. You know what I mean? Like people that I've met who are like, when I was PTing, who were just like super overweight, they're like, they feel completely powerless because they don't have the tools.
Yeah.
They haven't learned how to do the gym. They don't know what exercises are good for their body. They don't know how to do things without injuring themselves. They don't know how to eat. They don't like, I've got like people that I know very, very intimately, both in my family and beyond, who are like older, who just refuse to eat lean meat because it doesn't taste good. Who they refuse to eat healthy food because it doesn't taste good.
God.
You know what I mean? So they're in this like kind of vicious cycle where they only eat things that taste great and they refuse to eat anything outside of that.
Even if you can still make healthy food taste good though, you know what I mean? You still can.
I've had this conversation so many times with these people, and you can, but it's just, you need, I think when you get to a certain age, maybe you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Correct.
So or you have to be really willing to do so. Like I think like if we can get off there is a time and a place for doctors, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if we can get off the pill train where, instead of going to the gym to lose this weight and looking after my diet and doing all this food prep.
You don't have to worry about the 30 pills you have to take a week.
Or like they might say, I'd rather just go get Ozempic. I'd rather go get Ozempic, and that way my diet, like I'll just eat less of the foods that I'm eating and lose weight, whatever. But like we have a real, like in the older generation for sure, we have a real, they're really focused on like health equals go to the doctor, health equals pharmaceuticals, not like health equals lifestyle. Like
I think we're starting to learn that our generation is.
My generation is like all our parents are fat. All our parents are big, overweight, sedentary, and unhappy and injured and unhealthy. Like we're seeing it in real time. Like what bad food, what bad lifestyle choices, what sedentary lifestyle in general will do to you over a period of time. Like I know plenty of people who have been sedentary who for 20 years who are more injured than the people who have been exercising flat out in that time responsibly. So I don't think that our generation, as in people who are between 20 and 40 years old, I think we're starting to get it. But the only problem is that life's like the cost of living for us is so bad that like
you can't do it. It costs so much.
Like it's a lot of money to be dishing out for gyms. It's a lot of like a lot of people my age or our age are starting to join run clubs because they're cheap. You know what I mean?
You don't even have to pay for it, do you?
They don't have to pay for it. So,
it's tough. It is tough. And I think if you can be savvy and find savvy ways to do certain things, fantastic. But like, it's so tough. It's almost like, if you look at it that way, everything can be against you a little bit, but you've just got to push through. You know what I mean? Like I try to get my mum to the gym. Like last time I was down in my hometown of Portland, I said to her, I'm like, you come to the gym? And she just sat there and laughed at me. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. And she has something. I'm like, come on, mum, you come do some bicep curls with me or something. Nah. She wouldn't see me dead in the gym, she said.
That's right.
And I'm like, mum, when I went there was like she's probably worried about, turn up and making a fool of herself. She's not going to make a fool of herself. I wouldn't let her, for starters.
Correct.
But there's only like 3 people there. And I'm like, if you do one time, do you think they're going to care? They're not focused about you at all. No, that's the thing. Everyone gets in their head when they go to the gym thinking everyone's looking at me. No one is, because everyone's looking at themselves.
That's so true.
And making sure that they're doing the right things, lifting right, doing
In
all
fact,
that sort
I
of
love
stuff.
seeing like overweight, huge people in there having a go. I actually think to myself, yeah. When I see someone who's like...
I want to give them a high five.
Totally.
Yeah.
If I see a 150 kilo dude in there sweating it out, doing a bit of work, I'm like, get it, big boy, get it.
Yeah.
But in defense of the older generation not wanting to go to the gym, we also got to remember that back in the 80s and 90s when our parents were at an age where they could have gone and been like hard into the gym, a lot of people who went to the gym were stigmatized for being on steroids.
Yeah.
It was basically a big bodybuilding steroid culture.
Yeah.
Which it's not that anymore. But if you're
don't get me wrong, it's still around, but it's
but it's not like it was. It's not like all bodybuilding sort of thing if you're in the weights room. Whereas now it's if you're in the weights room, you might be doing that as part of a healthy lifestyle with everything else.
Yeah.
But if you're like a 50-year-old person now, you might think, oh, I haven't been to the gym in 30 years.
Yeah.
But back when I did go, it was like all these like
gym
super hot gym junkies in leotards doing all like big, jacked, veiny, sweaty dudes screaming in the weights room. Or
you don't see that
it was
anywhere. You can't find that anywhere now, which is fantastic. I love
good.
that, to be honest. I'm so glad that it's like that.
That shift in gym culture is so important for making it inclusive for everyone. And I think that's great. This episode brought to you by My OnlyFans. It's an amateur's paradise. Hundreds of girls and me. Get 50% off your first month at www.onlyfans.com/theapolloshow.aus. See you there.
I've got a question real quickly.
On, please.
At the gym, do you approach or do you not approach? If there's someone that you're attracted to, do you approach or do you not? Because I'm a little bit like, no, but there's funny. There's a girl that recently, me and one of my mates, I seen her and I'm like, I just think she's fantastic. She's very much my type to a T. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. Like, I feel like, you're both sweaty, you're both getting a workout in, that sort of thing. Like, the last thing I want to be doing is, flirting with someone. That's just, I don't know. It's just me. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I like to train hard and I will always get my training in. Mm-hmm. And if I see someone super attractive at the gym and if they have their headphones in and they look focused, I won't do anything. But if we make eyes across the gym and I can see that like we've got a bit of friendly, non-verbal banter going, and they happen to be within like earshot of me, if they set up on a platform near me while I'm doing my workout, and I happen to have a minute or so break, I will engage and say good day. Yeah. But like very rarely will I go and interrupt someone's workout when they've shown no interaction at all. Because I too don't like to be interrupted when I'm like in the zone. Like if I'm like, this is my squat day, I am like searching for these numbers today or whatever it is, and I'm vibing and I've got someone come up and tap me on the shoulder. Like it can be like just not what I'm looking for. But also, I mean, it's on a situation to situation basis. I don't think it's good if you're like if I'm hot girls will tell you, they're like, hate when I'm on the treadmill, earphones in, focused on my thing, quite obviously not interested in anything, and then dudes will just come up and, hey, how are you? And like try and get me to take my headphones off to chat to me when I'm like actually working my guts out. But it's situational. I like gym girls. If you look at my like dating history, they're all fit gym girls because that's kind of how we bond. So you got to pick your battles. You know?
Of course. It's just we had that debate, and I'm just like, what, I don't like again, situational, but I'm like, do we do it? Do you not? Like, it's a tough one. Because then as well, too, if it doesn't go well as well, there's that whole other can of worms. You know what I mean?
Where you're like, work out.
Yeah, a little.
Then you got to, like, if you see them again, it's awkward.
Like, yeah, it's tough like that. It's a battlefield, mate.
It is really a battlefield. Exactly it really right.
Is. But that was one thing that happened recently where I was like, it's interesting, so I want to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, fair. No, I'll do it, but only if it's like if there's a few green lights or green flags. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. That's the same like when I'm on a night out or something like that. if I get the signals, then I'll approach.
Yeah.
I don't,
Really depends on my
yeah,
mood. Sometimes
yeah,
if I'm like vibing,
yeah,
I'm more than happy just to throw myself into the realm of possibly getting rejected, and like I'll just do that
Yeah.
over and over again. Other nights I'm just like, I don't tonight.
yeah,
Once again, it usually comes down to how everything else in my life is going. If
Yeah.
I'm feeling like
real good about things.
really good
yeah.
about things, really good about myself,
Yeah.
things are going great. I feel like that actually radiates an energy that attracts people
yeah.
to you.
Yeah, I can see that.
And
definitely.
not even just girls, like it attracts like friends. It
Yeah,
attracts like
yeah.
people want to be around you
Yeah.
when you've got that aura, that
Yeah.
you're pushing out that energy, you
So I
know.
always try and bring as positive energy as possible.
Yeah.
Because people want to be around that. They don't want to be around the negative Nancy that's, life.
No.
It's tough to be around.
Yes, it is.
Like,
And it
obviously,
rubs off on you.
Yes, big time. And
Yeah.
it happens too much. It happens way too much.
Yeah.
You just put yourself, if anyone's listening out there, put yourself with positive people because positive people will rub off onto you.
Definitely.
Big time.
Definitely. Now, mate, is there anything else you want to go through before we wrap this up?
I think we're good. What do you reckon? I think
Mate,
we've done pretty well.
Same. It's been great.
Yeah.
Thanks so
Absolute
much for coming
pleasure.
on.
Thank you
Likewise,
very much, bro.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
And where can people find you on social media if they want to look you up?
Yeah, Insta is just at Darcy Looker. No spaces or capitals there with that one. I don't have TikTok. I've never gone down that rabbit hole, and I probably won't, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Snapchat's the exact same, at Darcy Looker. So yeah, just go on there and have a look. Enjoy.
Awesome.
My life is just travel and having a good time and that sort of thing. So that's what I try and put out there.
Great.
But hey, don't get me wrong. There's also you have your down moments. So
Of course.
don't believe everything you see on socials.
That's right. Exactly right. Well, thank you so much, bro.
No
and I'll
worries,
see you
bro.
soon.
Appreciate it.
Cheers,
Thanks,
man.
brother.